Okay, my Virgo comrades, I'm going to do a birthday month reading for you all. This can go for sun, moon, or rising because sometimes those energies do transfer over. Particularly, they can become very prominent during, Virgo season. If you have that anywhere in your chart, that configures prominently. So we're gonna look at what's coming up for late August through the end of September for you all. And I have a feeling it may kind of spill over into October as well. So if you are interested in what your 4 month challenge is going to be post the solar eclipse, I've got a video about that as well, and it's time stamped where you all come into play. I also want to recommend that you check out Amber Khan. She is the brains behind the Quietest Revolution YouTube channel, and go back and listen to her August reading for Virgos was life altering in a lot of ways. It just puts into kind of context, you know, how Virgos think, how they love, what they're protective of. It was beautiful. So make sure you check out her reading for Virgos for August in particular, and September was pretty good too. But Virgo, the extended reading for August was like it was on a whole new level, and we get those for free when it's our birthday month. So you guys definitely need to check that out. She's just very I shy away from saying the words articulate, but when it comes to talking about the signs, and she's so intuitive. She's a good one to check out if you are down for like, an hour and a half haul. So mine is going to be a lot shorter because I got like 30 minutes to kill before my takeout gets here. So but the reason why I wanted to do this was because I did the Virgo bit in my solar eclipse spread, and I just started laughing because we got the moon in reverse. My sun sign is a Virgo. The rest of me is all water. I've got Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. So the Virgo in me is the thing that anchors me the most and the best. I'm so grateful for it because it keeps me organized and keeps me on point, and allows me to process. And I'm very intuitive, so I appreciate that. And what I pulled the moon in reverse for our sign, I just started laughing. I was like, oh my god, this is bringing up some old but very recent encounters so far this year. So 2017, if you don't know, is a 1 year. And numerologists say that 1 years are all about planting seeds and really investing in people, places, pastimes, thought patterns, behaviors that we are going to carry with us through the rest of this 9 year cycle. And if you have had an experience anywhere near mine, it's been really radical changes, very fast changes. And because Virgos do enjoy our solitude and our ability to recharge when we're there for friends and family and so on, we have been put in the position this year where we have had to reach out and ask for help. And that's like a big kind of like a no-no. It's a pride thing with Virgos that we can do it. We can do it all. We can do it all for ourselves and for others. We're very well researched. We're very well organized. We're very intuitive and in line with other people's thoughts and emotions. We're the INFJs of the zodiac. So, we're very sensitive, and we like to be needed, but it's very difficult for us to admit that we need other people. And so this year has been all about finding out that we can't do it alone. No man or woman is an island, and we have to ask for help. So I'm getting the image right now of Moana. And I really, I talk a lot of smack about that movie because I have problems with Disney to some extent in terms of, how they spin narratives and why, but it's a whole nother conversation. But I really enjoy the film, and I'm thinking about how, she starts out on this journey by herself, and she has to ask for help from someone that she does not want to ask for help from. But she is in a circumstance where she can't do it by herself. She literally cannot fulfill her quest alone, so she has to go to Maui, who's like a total, dick, you know. And you know what, I use vernacular during these readings, so you guys are gonna have to like, you know, bear with me. But yeah, you know, and so she grows a lot from that. And so the other image that I'm thinking of right now that I have not yet talked about in any of these recordings is I was watching Labyrinth again today, and I've watched Labyrinth probably like 375 times, 376 if we're counting today. And, you know, Ludo, the monster, in the film, has the ability to call rocks to his aid. And it's so interesting how you can watch a film a million times and notice different things about it that you have never noticed before. For example, when they're in the Goblin City, they make it to the Goblin City, there's a fountain in the middle of the square, and it's got these little goblins and or gnomes or something. And I was like, are those pipes coming out of those goblins? You know, because you know how like fountains have like statues on them and they parts of them spout water. I was like, are they peeing into the fountain? That's hilarious and gross. So they had depicted these goblins in the Goblin City to have these pipes coming out of their pants, like, you know, genitals, and water was coming out of them, so it looked like they were peeing into the fountain. I was like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Whoever did that is a genius. I've literally been watching that film since I was like, you know, in grade school, and you know, I'm in my mid 30s now and just now noticed it. So that's just an example. So anyway, when Ludo calls the rocks to his aid, and we see he has the ability to do that from the first time we meet him. Also, side note, if you watch Labyrinth enough, you notice that it totally is patterned off of The Wizard of Oz. So I'm just going to put that there. Okay, but Ludo has the ability to call rocks to his aid. And what I really was really struck by when, you know, Sarah and her friends are stuck in the bog of eternal stench, that Ludo really, this is the first time we really see him kind of use this talent that he has in a useful way on a larger scale to help him and everybody with him, his whole crew, get across the bog so they don't, because if you stick one toe in, you smell like the bog of eternal stench for forever. And for those of you who have never smelled like neem oil, Neem, that's what I imagine the bog of eternal stench smells like, but like everywhere. So, you know, go to Whole Foods and take a good whiff, and you will never want to smell it again. It's like a good insect repellent, and like also like helps you smooth rough patches out in your skin. But nobody told you. It's like there's no warning sign or label. This stuff smells terrible. So, so they're in the bog of eternal stench, and he opens his mouth and he's yelling, and the rocks come up out of the bog and serve as a footbridge so they can cross the bog. And so by the time we get to the Goblin City, we're used to seeing him call rocks in to help everybody. And so when they're being attacked by goblins, him and his crew, he busts out through the tower and starts calling in these rocks to come help them because they're outnumbered. You know, they're outmanned, they're outgunned, they're outnumbered. And the rocks, you know, all he has to do is lift his voice up to call for help. And what he's calling on for anyone else, boulders, rocks, would be seen as obstacles, you know, something that's sitting in your way or standing in your way, or something you don't even really pay that much attention to if you don't need it or it's not in your way, and he calls them to help him. So for me, I was just really inspired by that, because it's like, wow, this year is about knowing that the obstacles that I've come through, like, not to take it personally. Like, everybody goes through obstacles. It does not mean that it's a detriment or an indictment that I can't handle a certain situation or a boulder. I feel like Virgos typically feel like Sisyphus. Like, you know, once we were done with one project or one commitment, you know, we roll that boulder up the mountain and it falls down the other side and we start all over again. Like, that's kind of our lot in life, right? So, you know, whether we're doing our own work or we're helping someone else. So, in other words, to tie those things in together, you know, the challenge is going to be for September, and for our birth month, for those of you born in August and September, you know, how do you take the things that used to impede your path? You know, they're not necessarily standing in your way anymore, but how do you take your experiences with them and what you now know of them and use them as a footbridge? How do you organize them? How do you use those experiences to your benefit? How do you use the element of earth? Okay, so those rocks are earth too. How do you use your natural sign, you know, how you rose to the occasion in your element every single time a challenge came at you? How do you build a foundation on those successes. So if you're listening to this right now, I saw a meme the other day that said, you've survived 100% of your very worst days. You're doing great. It's kind of like that feeling, because a 1 year, particularly for Virgos, if we are ready to step out of a cycle and into a new cycle, there's a lot of reorientation that we aren't necessarily comfortable with. And unless you have some water or air in your chart that can help you be adaptable, it can be very difficult for us to, and uncomfortable for us to adapt to new situations. And even with all the water that I have in my chart, I found the upheavals in my own personal and professional life this year to be the most demanding I've ever experienced in conscious memory of this lifetime. This year, everything showed up at once that I've been wanting. And I was like, whoa, I don't even know if I can handle all of this, right? I'm gonna need help. So it was about, when someone saw me struggling, accepting the help if they offered it, and asking for help if they offered it, or they didn't offer it, but I needed to ask for help, and learning how to kind of swallow my pride a little bit, or I was going to be just done under. So this year's been a shake-up for us. It's been scary. We are so intuitive about everyone else, but when it comes to our own choices and paths and patterns, we can get a little pathological. We can get really stuck in our head. We can do a lot of brooding. We can become immobilized or paralyzed by fear of what if. Worst case scenario, we plan, we overplan, we have plan A through Z, all the time. We always have a backup. So to not really know the outcome, or even have a sense of the outcome, because we don't like to commit to something that we're not going to win, it's scary. It is scary. But the good news is like, it's going to stabilize in 2018, because that's about collaboration and balance. And this year it's about, creating new tread in familiar terrain, or creating new tread in unfamiliar terrain, and trying to navigate that space. And it's uncomfortable. It's beyond uncomfortable, especially if you're in transition between jobs, being strapped for cash, or in transition between relationships, being strapped for affection, companionship, those sorts of things. It's been tough for Virgos. So that's why I'm actually starting, I think I'm going to do monthly readings for Virgos, Sun, Moon, Rising, and also all the other signs. I think I'm going to do a birthday month reading for everybody. That's all I can probably handle right about now. Okay, so I'm going to do a 3-card spread, and may pull some clarifiers, and I definitely have an oracle card for us to guide us through our birthday month, especially post, solar eclipse. Okay, open please. I'm using the Line Strider Tarot in case you're like a tarot enthusiast and like looking at decks. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit. So when I was just talking about solitude, the Hermit is our card. And I'm almost getting a little emotional seeing this here, because what better way to start a reading than to have ourselves represented here? And so this is really profound, because this is about doing the inner work. It's about going to the mountaintop and getting the lay of the land. It's earth energy at its best. The Hermit is not, he doesn't experience loneliness in the same way other people do. He experiences aloneness by choice. He experiences solitude by choice. And we have a bear represented here in the Line Strider Tarot, and there's all these things blossoming all over him, little flowers, and it looks like he's kind of coming apart a little bit, in terms of like his skin is falling off, and he's filled with flowers. And there's a skull here. I mean, this is just really striking imagery that we're looking at here. But this is at the core. This is a beautiful representation of what Virgos, well, how we think and how we operate. We have these kind of dark depths that we have learned to sort of mask or veil to people. And And we are filled with these vibrant imaginations and ideas, and again, so sensitive and so intuitive. And there's so much appreciation for beauty and the cosmos and the natural world. But to the outside world, we may look inaccessible, like a bear, like a grizzly who is just, is there anybody home? We look like an animal who is just very reserved and doesn't come out unless it's hungry and needs to forage or defend its territory. So, we know otherwise. But it takes people who get to know us. It takes us a long time to open up and let them seal the flowers and carnage within, because we kill ourselves before we try, to like confront anybody else. We're confronting it within ourselves. We're confronting the depths of despair within ourselves. We're holding ourselves to a higher standard than we are anybody else. We put ourselves through that gauntlet first. So but the face that we show to the world is often one that appears to be impenetrable. I mean, bears are really, if you're on land and you're trying to get away from a bear, good luck, because they can run like, 35 miles an hour? They can climb, they can swim. You ain't getting away from a bear if a bear wants you. But I'm just thinking now that they have a sweet spot. They like honey. They have a sweet tooth, So there's kind of a balancing there. And bears do look cuddly, to some people. They make teddy bears out of us. So I think this is actually really beautiful to see. It's the underlying energy. I think we are looking towards some brighter days, some harvest, end of sleepless nights, perhaps on the tail end of like the end of a partnership, the end of a position that we had our eyes on, an end to loneliness, looking for companionship, looking for fertility and creativity, looking for ways to express ourselves. That cycle is like on its way out. It's about to wrap up. So that's the good news that I can give to you guys. You do have the strength. You do have the resilience to move forward. There are going to be new opportunities for you to express yourself and opportunities for people to express themselves. It's an end to heartbreak. Wishes come true. And just continuing the process of, even if we feel unstable and not completely aligned, it's actually a time for celebration. I think a lot of us have been working really hard this year, and I think it's now time, in order for us to completely stabilize, it's now time for us to stop thinking so much about work and start thinking about, how do we find pleasure? And sometimes you have to take the long road to find pleasure, and we need time and we need space. We can get really cranky, quite cutting and mean, if we are presented with a scenario where we don't feel like we're in control. Woe be unto whomever it is who's around us at the time when we're not feeling ourselves, because we have sharp intellect and sharper tongues, let's just put it that way. And so love messages may be getting displaced, boredom, but it's okay. Things are about to balance out. We're going to be victorious. It's the end of an intellectual cycle. And if things aren't moving as fast as we would like right now, it's because we need a little bit of repose. We need a rest. Okay? I think we've just been burning the midnight oil, thinking things to death, wanting stability, wanting creativity, wanting passion, but still mourning the years past, the things that we've lost, the people we've lost, waiting for judgment to come down on our sides, waiting for things we've invested in to return, a harvest to us, new love, brand new love. Oh my goodness, soulmate love. Trying to figure out how to move forward, trying to figure out our intuition, trying to balance our finances, but it's okay. We're being forged. We're intellectually sharper than we were at the beginning of the year. We're poised to reclaim everything that we think we've lost, and we're willing to go look for that. We're willing to go look for happily ever after, the Holy Grail, even if it means that we lose our footing for a moment. Okay, guys? Transformation is being stalled right now because a lot of it has to do with like our negative self-talk and the codependency that we find with other people and the relationships that because we love to be needed, but it's like, if you stick around so long that person doesn't know what life was like without us, you're actually stifling your own growth by not walking away. So walking away and selecting things that you really need to, keep tabs on, but also things that you need to let go of. That is what is going to be the transformation. That's what's going to send us into 2018 in year two of this 9-year cycle as, completely stable, completely like baggage free, and, like ready to go it alone. We just have to be careful that we don't try and manipulate people in our pursuit of money. Okay. We're smart. We have a lot of abilities at our disposal, but if we aren't walking through life with purity and we're walking through bandaged up from other people's encounters with other people that have left us sort of like stalled out, then we can become a bit manipulative, I think, in terms of wanting to get our way. It's a survival mentality. It's a survival tactic. It's like if it's going to be you or me, it's me every time. That's what that feels like. We need to find balance. We still need personal enlightenment, okay, and order. And I think we freak out when we don't feel as financially stable as we would like. So that is coming for us. It just takes a minute, okay? So that's the underlying energy with the Hermit here on the bottom of the deck. So we have the Five of Pentacles in the issue position in reverse and the Knight of Wands, which is great. So the issue is that now that it finally looks like we are coming to a place where we are walking away from financial instability, we're walking towards abundance. It's kind of like hold your horses, okay? Because the Knight of Wands is fiery, passionate energy, and the Five of Pentacles, it's earth energy, and the Knight of Wands is ready to he's a berserker. I call him Sir Reginald, and he's like Mr. One Night Stand. He's like in and out. And so he's fiery, he's passionate, you want him on the front lines, he has his uses, when he's, in love or just inspired, like, you need that to inspire the rest of the troops, right? Here's the thing, because this has been, I feel like, largely a solitary journey for most of us this year in terms of whatever it is that we're pursuing. It could just be overall well-being, wellness, reorienting how we think about what we put in our bodies, how we groom ourselves, like all of that, to be in accordance with the changes that our lives are making. The Knight of Wands is ready to rush into that, and like the rest of the army's like, whoa, Sir Reginald, like, chill, bro, like, like you're running into battle before we have blown the trumpets. You're gonna blow our cover. So the issue right now is having the enthusiasm to run towards abundance, but not necessarily, it might not be like, how do you temper that energy? How do you temper that fire? Because it feels like we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for everything to just kind of like play out and pan out. We've done all the legwork, we've done all the planning, and now it's like, okay, now what? And it's like, you wait. So for instance, I was at the Social Security office the other day. I moved to a new town, and I've been putting off this year changing my name legally on official documents because I got my maiden name back. And so I have the paperwork, but it's just my year has been so trill. It's like, I literally have not, it feels like I've come down from Mordor after throwing in the one ring of power. Like, I was just like, yeah, and now I'm right where I need to be. Well, I'm always right where I need to be. We all are. But, now I'm finally moved to the new town, ready to start the new job in the new house. And it's like, okay, I got to get, all of my IDs taken care of. I have to get my bank accounts taken care of, all new cards. I'm ready to go. Let's make ready for this like fresh new direct deposit. I don't want any hiccups. I don't want any hitches. Planning. Go to the Social Security office. Here's my paperwork. Got to change my Social Security card. Got to get a new driver's license. Got to get this and this and this and bank account open here and all that. And the guy says okay, and he asks me the questions and he takes me through it and all the things. And he said, okay, so we have your application in. And I said, okay, now what? And he said, no, you wait. And he just kind of laughed with this little grin. And I burst out laughing because it must have been all over me. Like, come on, let's go. You know what? Now what? So they have to mail you this paper card, and I can't move. I can't get a new driver's license. I can't open a bank account here for my school to do my direct deposit. I can't, there are several things that I cannot do until that card shows up, I can't get a passport. I need to get a passport. My passport renewed. So there are a lot of things that are being held up because now I have to wait. And I have to wait for up to 2 weeks. He was like, you get it in a few days. And I was like, well, what's a few days? Like a few days, like, 3 days? Or it's like, a week? Or like, he's like, well, it says up to 2 weeks, but it'll be here in a few days, small town. So that's the kind of energy that I'm talking about here. We have poised ourselves to be in a place where we are walking towards what we've always wanted. We finally see the light on in the sanctuary. We're not feeling like completely broke, anymore in terms of energy levels and resources. And we are ready to just guns blazing, up out of the trenches onto the battlefield. We're ready to go. That's our issue right now, is how do we balance that earth energy that is us and anchor it and temper it, and temper the fire that wants to move now. Well, we still have 4 months left to the end of the year, and I think it's going to take us probably on in through January with this Five of Pentacles here, because that's after the holidays, and nobody knows what they're doing. It's like you catch a breath and then you got to go into holiday season, and I feel like we just recovered from holiday season. So okay, so the challenge to that position is the Ace of Swords, and that's newly honed intellect, strategy. This is the sword of truth. Ace of Swords is Excalibur, and our challenge, or the suggested course of action, is to basically not take old trauma with us into the new cycle, okay? This is a new gift. Aces are gifts, they're beginnings, and they're free will cards. You don't have to take them, but they are being extended to you from the cosmos or the divine. So the challenge is how do I not take what has traumatized me or given me like personal PTSD from who I had to interact with in the situations and the scenarios I had to tap dance for just to eke out a living? How can you all tell this is personal? This is why the Hermit is on the bottom of the deck, because if we rush into battle, then everybody only sees that bear. They only see the scary part of us. So it's like we're conditioned to respond to crisis in certain ways. The challenge is going to be looking at new challenges as though we have never been burned or never been scarred or no one has ever told us no. That is a Virgo's least favorite word. I'm sorry, did you say no? That's cute. Give me what I want. You're not the boss of me. We have that side to us too. You ain't gonna tell me no. There's always a way. I'll find it, So it's to not take that trauma with us into this cycle. These are new seeds that we're planting here. So we can't take that with us, okay? The Ace is a new beginning. It is razor sharp intellect, razor sharp analysis, and razor sharp strategizing. It's something that we are all born with as Virgos, right? So to take that intellect but take it into a new situation as if it's brand new and you've never been hurt before. And I'm talking to myself too, and I'm going to try not to cry through this reading because I'm walking into a new job, and I'm walking into new colleagues and new students and, a new paradigm, new personal life changes, friendships have ended and now I'm making new friends and, reviving old relationships, and they feel new because we've changed so much, So not being afraid that people are going to hurt us the way others have in the future. We have to trust that we have learned our lessons and it's time to put those to rest, and we're not going to make those mistakes again, All right, so the outcome is the Hierophant, which is Major Arcana. Beautiful. So we begin the reading with the Hermit, which is Major Arcana, and we end with the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is about, for Virgos, now look, this is synchronicity for you, okay? Because swords are air energy. Wands are fire. Pentacles, things like that, that's earth energy. It's stability. Animals that represent earth, like the bear. So we start off with the bear and we end with the bear. And you have the keys here. The Hierophant for a Virgo is stability. It's being grounded. I like seeing the Hierophant card. Some people don't like it because they think it's too controlling. It represents systems, like government, church, political systems, those sorts of things. It also represents like organizations or corporations, like, belief systems, school, and marriage. And so for those of you who are looking at a partnership right now, and I'm giggling because it's like, oh God. This represents a union. between yourself and those things. It's a major arcana, which means it's preordained. It's cosmically, um, it's cosmically here for us. This is a major destiny point. With the Hierophant, Ace cards, court cards, the rest of the minor arcana, those are free will cards. But a major arcana is the divine weighing in on the reading and saying this is no, this is not free will. So basically, it doesn't matter how you get to this destiny point, just that you do, okay, with the lessons intact. And this is the outcome. So if we can look at situations that are new for us with new eyes and using the air in us to rise above that earth energy. And with this solar eclipse that's going down tomorrow, August 21st, I mean, it's cleaning house energetically, and I was listening to one of my favorite readers earlier today. She's like, I just feel like doing all these readings. And all of a sudden it was like contagious. I was like, I just feel like doing a bunch of readings and just putting them out there for people and they can have them. It's like, I've never felt like that, except when I was doing individual readings. But it's like, I feel like the masses are going to need a little bit of like a life raft or something, like moving forward through the rest of the 4 months. It's like 2017 ain't over yet. It's not done with us yet. So to see this as the outcome at the end of September is the Hierophant, that means that's order. And Virgo loves order, don't we? We like knowing where we stand. We like familiarity. We like partnership. We like successful partnership. So if you are in a relationship or staring down a relationship, and I'm looking at the Ace of Swords here with the Hierophant, if you've done your assessment as the Hermit, if you are now feeling like there is an offer on the table, probably by someone who they could have a lot of fire in their chart or exhibit, fire energy, and earth energy. I feel like I'm doing my own reading right now. If we are looking at that landscape and we turn our head so we're not looking at the past. So notice that the eagle on the Ace of Swords is looking towards the future. It's not looking towards the past, okay? The Ace of Swords is looking towards union. So if you're looking at getting into a partnership with someone, take it for what it is with them. Don't drag the past so much into it that it totally disorients you. I think it's important for people to understand and appreciate, the stress that we've come through and the struggles that we've come through. But if you're dealing with a new person, or you're dealing with a partner who feels new all of a sudden, because you have to fall in love with one another at different stages, right? You have to fall in love all over again. That's how partnerships work. You have to stay together, every cycle. We change, that change is the nature of the universe. Octavia Butler wrote, God is change. So, if you're seeing your partner, if you're in a long-term partnership and you're seeing your partner with new eyes, all of a sudden it's like, woo, what is it? Ooh, I like what I see in you, that's you want to go with that, okay? You don't want to think about like the socks they leave out and like the mustard cap off and toothpaste all over the place, you don't want to think about the stuff that's happened that has like pissed you off in like previous, arrangements or with them. You want to look towards the future, and the future is looking at the Hierophant, which is union, marriage, stability, longevity, sustainability. This could also be a marriage to oneself, committing to oneself and saying, I commit to myself that I'm going to continue to keep my highest idea of well-being in mind for myself moving forward. I'm going to marry myself. I'm going to lavish myself with all of the things that I could have given to a partner, I can give to a partner. And this works even if you're in a partnership, because you want to be interdependent. You don't want to be codependent, right? Like you all bring something to the table together, and you experience life together. You don't want to need somebody to make you happy. You want to invite them to join you on your path to contentment and happiness. But you shouldn't need someone else to make you happy. So even if you're in a partnership, it's recognizing that I am whole, I am balanced no matter what. I do things, I seek things out, I strategize to have things in my life that fulfill me personally so I can be a better partner. That's beautiful to see. Now, this could also mean that, in addition, it could also mean that you are starting a new position that is going to be more structured. And if you felt kind of like a wild card or a loose cannon in the last several months, stability is on the way, collaborations, things that are locked in, to give you an anchor, things that will stand the test of time. That's the Hierophant. Okay. So that is awesome to see, my Virgo brethren and sisterin. I'm going to pull a Wisdom of the Oracle card for you by Colette Baron Reed. Her cards are so synchronous with my readings. It's like she's here. So we have Fork in the Road. What did I just say? Fork in the Road. This is number 13. And, 13, I'm not a big numerologist, but I pay attention to numbers and repetitions in numbers and how they indicate where we are in terms of progress. And the 13 reduces to 4. Fours are all about stability and foundation, structure. Solid ground. So, 13, Fork in the Road. So the essential meanings are time to make a decision, considering the consequences as you prepare to act, owning up to your obligation to make a necessary choice. So the Oracle's message is every choice has a consequence. You've arrived at a fork in the road and are being asked to come to a decision. Will you further your dreams by choosing left or by choosing right? Will you take the road less traveled or the one well worn by others who have come before you? This is your choice and yours alone to make. Circumstances and other people will not make it for you. Be present and do not avoid this junction, for it is an important crossroads. Take heart, as no matter which path you choose, you will have a rich and meaningful experience. So that's really beautiful to see here. And, this is Virgo time. We are the quintessence of the harvest. It's time for us to harvest. We've been planting seeds for years. We got a head start. We're the ant in the story of the ant and the grasshopper. So now it's time for us to reap the rewards. I do feel like there are going to be some difficult decisions to people that are going to involve some major life changes. I feel like some of you all are going to be entering into new partnerships. I feel like some of you all are going to be deciding to leave jobs. I feel like some of you all are going to be deciding to maybe, I'm hearing, have a baby. So, it could also, there is definitely somebody out there who is considering a complete career overhaul. Go with your gut. People say that, but I mean that, because that, your intuition is trying to send up signal flares. If something, you can't shake something from your mind, it's because it's meant to be there for a reason. So this fork in the road, if all you have is like one little signal flare that you can see from on top of your mountain, that's more of a clue than anything else. And you can also ask for a sign. I don't care if it's just like, can somebody please like send a leaf blowing on the path in the direction that I'm supposed to take, because I can't see my hand in front of my face. It's dark out here. The moon is not, I can't see the moon. It's cloudy. That's where a lot of us are right now. Okay, but guess what? There is light at the end of the tunnel. It is not a train. It is a new circumstance. So your challenge is going to be considering it as new and not, trying to resolve it with the Rolodex of experiences that you've had in the past of being burned. Okay? Happy birthday, my Virgo friends and compatriots. And I will see you again